guys, it's Nicole, also known as Nikki Vegan, and today I'm going to show you some eco-friendly ways that I'm kind of working on incorporating into my life. And I'm a little bit scared, honestly, to make this video because I do think that whenever you say that you're making an effort to be more sustainable or to use less plastic, people kind of hold you to a standard of perfection, and they have this expectation that you're never ever going to use plastic ever again, even though that's completely unrealistic. Maybe not for some people. I know there are people who are zero waste, and I think that's amazing, but I think it's really important to show regular everyday people like me who are just trying to do a little bit better whenever they can and are trying to take the information that we're hearing about the environment and how, plastics are so dangerous for the environment and how we, can make these little switches here and there and actually implement that into my life and show you how I'm doing it. My goal is not perfection, it is progress, and I think more people doing a little bit better, doing what they can, is way better than some people who are completely perfect, completely zero waste, and some people who are doing absolutely nothing. Okay, so dumpster diving is just what it sounds like. It literally means you go through dumpsters or trash cans and pick stuff out of it. And I found out that Thrive Market actually does that in their offices to make sure that their employees are using, recycling and composting practices that they use as a company. So I decided to team up with Thrive Market to bring you this video because I really think that I vote with my dollar, and if I have the opportunity to support a company that is really trying to do its part in terms of recycling and using products in an eco-friendly way, then I'm going to do that. On top of the fact that Thrive already saves me money and has great vegan options, I love that they really are trying to make a difference and do things responsibly, even though it would be way easier not to. So I did put a link for you guys if you also want to try Thrive Market. It's in the description box below, but now let's check out what I got. So I'm going to show you some things that I got, and I'm actually going to start with something that you might not think of very often, and that is buying foods that you use a lot of times in convenience snack packs in the full size. So applesauce, for example. I used to use applesauce, the little small containers, because they were the perfect portion for a lot of the recipes I needed. Usually you need like a fourth of a cup or a half of a cup for something. So those little to-go containers seemed so convenient and perfect. But honestly, those little plastic containers really add up, and I never even thought about it. So what I do now is I just get the full size of applesauce, and I use this for not just snacking. I use this in my oatmeal in the morning. I've used it in cookie recipes. I've used it in cakes. I use it in my pancakes all the time. And one of my absolute favorite ways is in my apple muffins, which is a recipe in my ebook. Those are completely oil-free, and they are so soft and squishy and spongy and delicious, and applesauce is a really important ingredient in that. So I get this in the bigger container now in a glass jar, and I often reuse this glass jar because I think it's quite cute. So I'll use this for like beans and things in my pantry after I use it, and it saves those little plastic cups. If there is something that you're using single-use plastic for, just see if there's an option to buy a bigger container. Again, it's not about not eating applesauce or not eating the snacks that you like. It's just about seeing if there's a little way that you can get the same thing with a little bit of a more eco-friendly package, Another thing that you can try to get in glass packaging is spices. Now, spices can be so expensive, so I do tend to get most of mine on Thrive Market. And this adobo seasoning I'm so excited about, because actually Nisha told me about adobo seasoning, and she just sprinkles it on potatoes before she cooks them, and she says it's amazing. I'm really excited to use this for dips, and something that you can do that's a really cool hack, like takes maybe 15 seconds, is you just stir this into cream cheese, and you can make your own kind of very flavorful cream cheese that's a little bit more fun, a little bit more exciting, and you can use that obviously on bagels, but you can also use it as the base of sandwiches or avocado toast, and it's a great way to incorporate lots and lots of flavor. So I'm really excited to experiment with this seasoning. I'm sure you're going to see it in some videos coming up. So something that blew my mind is that most of what is in landfills is actually food waste. And food waste is largely preventable with a little bit of, just creativity. So I'm going to show you some ways that I reduce food waste, and it makes an actual really big difference for the environment and for your pocketbook. What is this? So let's talk about bread. Bread is one of the most wasted foods in landfills, and it's because a lot of times we throw away bread when it's not as fresh as we like, or when we get to that end piece that can be kind of hard. And as I'm editing this, I'm realizing that this particular loaf of bread came in a plastic bag, and that there are actually tons of opportunities for me to get fresh bread from my farmer's market or from the bakery section at my grocery store that comes wrapped in a paper bag instead. So I'm definitely going to try to do that from now on. But what I've done here is I've actually saved all of the end pieces of bread from various loaves, and I just kept them in the freezer knowing that I was going to turn them into breadcrumbs. This is a really great way to reduce food waste, and once you've got a nice little collection of breads here, you can just toast them up. I kind of toast them pretty well until they're pretty crunchy, and then I will go ahead and just break them up and put them into a food processor with a pretty good amount of salt. And you can add other seasonings if you like Italian herbs, but I find that just salt makes it a little bit more simple and plain and versatile. And then I'll just kind of crumble this until it's the desired consistency that I like, and this can be sprinkled on top of pasta bakes like macaroni and cheese. It's so good when you have that crispy, crunchy layer on top. You can make this into stuffing, or you can even bread things like tofu steaks, that kind of thing, with breadcrumbs. So this is a great thing that you can do to reduce some food waste. I've also included a PDF in the description box below that kind of explains a little bit more about the environmental and economic impact that food waste has on the environment. And if you have a second to read it, I highly recommend it. It is pretty mind-boggling. Now, if you're going out of town, or if you just feel like you're not going through your milk fast enough, then a great way to use up almond milk or soy milk or whatever kind of milk you like is to actually make ice cubes. This way you don't have to throw away what's left in the bottle, and you can just keep them whenever you need them. If you freeze it, you could literally have this in your freezer for like a year, and then whenever you need to use milk, like if you're making porridge in the morning, you can just go ahead and drop a couple of those in there and they will melt, and it'll be just like you added some milk to your oatmeals. I do that. I also throw these into smoothies sometimes. It works really well, and it's a really great way to reduce waste. The same is true if you have a carton of juice, or even if you have coconut water. Definitely turn these into little ice cubes. If you're using fruit juice, they're kind of like little popsicles on a summer day. It's pretty nice. Another thing that I didn't really think very much about was plastic bottles in the shower. So things like shampoo and body wash, I go through super fast. So now what I do is I buy larger bottles of shampoo because I feel like I'm gonna use one bottle for a way longer period of time. It just means that I'm not adding as many bottles to the recycling bin. That might seem like not a good enough step for a lot of people who are in the low waste and zero waste movement, but that's a practical step that I can take that is doable for me, and I think it's a good first step. And this whole video and my whole ethos on this channel is about doing the best you can in the best way you can. So, you know, maybe you don't want to just use the kind of like solid shampoos that don't have bottles around them, but maybe you can buy bigger bottles when you're buying shampoo and therefore reduce a little bit of waste that way. Every little bit does count, and don't let anybody tell you that it doesn't. One of the ways though that I have reduced plastic in the shower completely is by switching to bar soap. I didn't even think of that, but it's such a simple thing, and it really doesn't bother me that much to have bar soap versus body wash. This is the Schmidt's Bergamot and Lime Natural Soap. It smells so good, and there's a couple of different ones. Tom's has a great one that I love, and this one's great because it doesn't have paraffins and they don't test on animals. So I love that. And again, anything citrusy for summertime I'm really into, and it's way cheaper when I get it on Thrive than when I get it not on Thrive. So it's all about the little teeny tiny changes. So everybody already knows that plastic bags are bad and that you should bring your reusable bags to the grocery store. That's a given. But one thing that I'm super late to the game on is to use these little produce bags, and I got these on Thrive Market. They come in a set. I got a couple of these, and they come in different sizes, and you can use this for so many things. But something that I saw on Edgy Veg's YouTube channel, she was saying that instead of buying produce that comes pre-bagged, like carrots or mushrooms that come with that plastic over it, why not get the loose ones and just put them in your own bags, and you can store them in containers when you get home if you want. And it's such a small, again, a small little switch that actually makes a really big difference in terms of reducing the amount of plastic that the grocery store is putting on produce. That was all in one breath. Now I finally have these. You can also bring this to the bulk section of your grocery store. If you're getting nuts or seeds, these bags don't really weigh very much, so you can go ahead and take these with you and just feel good about yourself that you're doing a good thing and reducing the amount of unnecessary plastic waste. All right, so those are some ways that I'm trying to be a little more eco-friendly and practice sustainability within my own life. Question of the day today is, how are you practicing sustainability in your life? What are some changes that you've made that have made a really big difference in your life? Please let me know in the comments. I would love to learn from you. Let me know what you guys are doing. Let's share information and help each other and support each other's good choices. Every step matters. It's not like you're never gonna see plastic on my channel. You will, because I travel, I go out, I have a life, and I can't always drop everything to be perfect, because there's times where convenience wins. There's times where my budget won't allow me to make certain choices, but you don't have to bend over backwards to make a big difference. And I think that if you can figure out ways, small ways in your life to make a difference, all of that really does add up. And I also think that supporting companies like Thrive Market that are creating massive change because they produce so many products and they really are trying to do the best they can. I read in an article that they heard that people were complaining about the amount of packaging that came in the boxes, so they've since reduced it by half, and I think that that really shows that they're trying to make an effort, and I think that that really aligns with my values, and I love supporting companies that do as well. So if you guys want to try Thrive Market, check out the link in the description box, as well as a lot more information about sustainability. I've included lots of links from the EPA and also that Thrive Market article that I read about the dumpster diving. All of that is in the description box below. Okay, I hope you guys have a great day. I hope this was interesting and helpful. I love you, and I will see you soon. Bye. Oh, subscribe, please.